Agenda. We're going to talk about the code of conduct. This is the SUSD code of conduct for athletes. We'll talk a little bit about the eligibility and the probation that's in place. We want to talk to you about attendance at school and campus-wide behavior and how that's going to tie into being an athlete or a cheerleader here at Franklin High School. I'm going to introduce our new online registration for athletics. So I know all of you, you come to the office, and I know unfortunately I don't have all the paperwork. We're going to do away with paperwork. Everything's going to be done online. You can get on your phone, you can register for your sports, register for cheerleading, everything online. It'll make it a lot simpler for you to do that. So I'll show you what that looks like. And then lastly, we'll talk real quick. I know some of us are interested in playing college sports, so I'll talk to you about some of the first steps in order to do that. So here's the Stockton Unified Athletic Contract. I don't know if, has anybody seen this before? It's in the handbook, the athlete handbook. Okay, a few of you. So we're gonna go over it today. We'll probably go over it again. Just wanna make sure you know it. The first sentence here I think is really important to understand. That it's a privilege to participate in athletic activities, okay? So it's not a right, it's your privilege to be able to participate. I know it's a fun experience, it's a fun time, but it also comes with some responsibilities, and that's what we want to talk about today. Okay? We're going to talk about the rules and regulations that will govern our athletes, our cheerleaders who represent SUSD, which is also Franklin High School, in any of our competition. Okay? They're designed to promote the ideals of sportsmanship, teamwork, citizenship, responsibility, and pride in representing our district, our community, and also Franklin High School. So to be eligible, you have to meet the CIF and SUSD eligibility requirements. We're going to go over that in just a minute. You have to be enrolled in at least 20 semester credits. Eligibility, we check it every semester. So I just checked it for this last semester if you were in a winter sport. If you're in a spring sport, it's already being checked before you can participate, and we'll check it again starting for the fall. All of our athletes must pass physical examinations. I'm in the process right now of setting up a time where you can get your physicals done here at Franklin before this school year ends for next season. Okay, we're going to make sure we get all that taken care of before we start into the fall next year. Once you get your physical, you'll no longer have to hand in the papers. Again, we're going to have you upload that to a portal for athletic registration. I'll show you that. All these forms, they come to me, and I make sure you're eligible to participate. If you're going to change from one sport to another, we need to make sure that the coaches are aware of that, athletic director is aware of that. And what I want to talk about, and I've heard this happen, is if you're just deciding to quit a sport, you need to come talk to myself if you've already talked to the coach about it. Because if you quit one sport, you need to be reinstated to continue playing sports. We need to talk about why you're quitting the sport, okay? So it's important that you finish the sport from your previous season, especially if you're looking to play a next sport. An athlete must be at school for 4 of 6 periods. So this is really important. You need to be attending classes in order to participate in the games, and you need to have attended at least 4 of your 6 periods in order to be eligible to play. And we're going to start checking this with our registration office and our attendance office to make sure that you're in school on game days. Okay? Now, you must attend practices in order to play in the games. Okay, so I've talked to coaches, and some of you are missing practice. It's important that you make the practices. Okay? If you're not making practices and coaches are not playing you, there's nothing that we're going to say differently with that. Okay, you must ride the transportation that we provide. And some days there may not be school-provided transportation. We're working the best we can with the school district in order to provide buses. Some days we don't have buses. For those days, we may ask that your parents transport you. And if that happens, the parents should only be transporting their child. Okay. Here's some ways that you could become ineligible to participate in athletics. Okay? If you quit the sport for an unjustifiable reason, without the consent of the coach or the athletic director, you become ineligible for all sports. Okay, so if you decide to quit, at that moment you're ineligible. And in order to be reinstated, you're going to have to come talk to myself and administration, and we're going to have to talk about the situation. Obviously, no smoking, drinking, or use of illegal drugs. That's not only on campus, but off campus as well. Okay? That can show up sometimes in social media, so be aware of what you're posting. Make sure you're acting in a manner that may not bring dishonor or shame to the community or the school. Okay? Also, fighting. Not only fighting here at school, fighting in the community, fighting at any of our events, activities, sporting events. Even if you leave the bench or the sideline when a fight occurs, these are all justifiable reasons that you will become ineligible to participate. Okay? It's very important that we show respect for our teammates, the opponents, the officials, and our coaches. And there's going to be a lot of times we may disagree with our coaches, we may disagree with officials, but there's a proper way of going about the disagreement. Okay? And disrespect is not going to be tolerated. I want to touch on this. Some of you, for some of your sports, you may play in non-school sponsored teams, club teams, travel teams. It's important to realize when you play for those teams, you cannot also be competing and playing for a high school team. It has to be during an off season. If you have any question when your sport off season is, you need to come see me. Because if you're playing for a travel team or a club team and it happens to coincide with our high school season, you're going to be ineligible and our team's going to forfeit the games that you're playing in. Okay, so it's important that we check on that. As an athlete, you're going to be personally responsible for all the athletic equipment and uniforms that are checked out to you. It's important that you return them at the end of the season. I know some of us still haven't turned in uniforms. If you have uniforms that you haven't turned in, you need to bring them to my office. What's going to happen is if we know you still have a uniform that's been checked out, we're going to bill your account. If you don't pay off your account by the time you graduate, you won't graduate. Okay? So it's important that you return those uniforms and any other equipment that's been checked out. We'll make sure you know and follow all the state, section, school athletic rules and regulations as they pertain to eligibility and sports participation. One quick point I'm going to bring up about that. If you transfer to Franklin from another school, if you've been to other high schools participating in sports before you come to Franklin, it's very important that you let me know. We have to clear you through the CIF as a transfer student. We've had some instances in the past where maybe this wasn't made aware to the AD or the coaches, and that will make you ineligible, which in turn causes us to forfeit games. So if you transfer here from another high school or you've played at another high school somewhere else, you got to let us know so we can get you cleared from those schools. Also, it's important that we win with character and we lose with dignity. Okay? This is coming from our school district's policy for athletics. Now we're going to talk a little bit about eligibility. I know a lot of you have come to me recently. We talk about your grades, if you're eligible, if you're not eligible. It's important to understand that you have to, first of all, complete 50 credits from your last 2 semesters. So right now that would be this past fall semester and last spring semester. For next fall, you need to have completed 50 credits this current semester and the fall semester. If you're a freshman, if you didn't complete at least 20 credits in the fall semester and you didn't have a 2.0 GPA, you're not even eligible for probation. You become ineligible. Okay? So what does that mean? Most of us are enrolled in 6 classes? Okay, so if there are 5 each, you may have some wiggle room there, but you really can't be getting Fs. If you're getting Fs, you're getting 0 credits, and that's gonna put you behind. Now, once you fall behind this track here to graduate, it's really hard to get caught up, and you'll stay ineligible until you get caught up. So those of you that you start out freshman year and now you're behind, we're gonna have to get you in Cyber High. We have to get you caught up in the credits because you will never be eligible until you get caught up with credits. So if you have any questions about this, where you're at, you'll have to come see me and I can explain this even in further detail. All of us must have at least a 2.0 GPA from the previous semester. It's the previous semester GPA in order, as well as fulfilling the credit requirement in order to be eligible. Raise your hand if you know how to calculate your GPA. Okay. How many, or for 2 grade points, what grade is that? Does anybody know? 2 grade points equals what grade? C, right? So you have to have a C average. If your report card has D's and F's, too many D's and F's, you're going to be ineligible. Okay, so it's really important you understand how to calculate your GPA. Look at your grades. Make sure A's, B's, and C's are on your report cards. If you're a freshman, you get 1 probationary period. That's for 1 semester. You don't have a 2.0 GPA, but you still need to have at least 20 credits completed. After your freshman year, you will have another probationary period, but it's only 1 more chance. So from sophomore to the end of your senior year, you only get 1 more probation. And I know some of you have come to see me to file your probation. Once you file that probation, you're now expected to keep a 2.0 GPA ongoing throughout the rest of your high school career in order to be eligible to play sports. Okay, so make sure you understand that. It's a use it or lose it. So you have that 1 chance. I'm going to show you what the letter looks like here in a little bit. So we'll go ahead and keep scrolling. So this is our, some of you have seen this, it's our athletic probation letter. What I want to point out, when click to the next slide. We're going to require at least a week sit-out period when you go on academic probation. Okay, it takes time. We need to talk to the coach. I'm going to review your file. We're going to bring this to your parents so they understand that this is your 1 shot in order to get your grades up. So it could take about a week in order for the paperwork to process. And we need to make sure we understand that, because I know some of us would come to the office expecting this to be done right away so they can play that day. It's not going to happen like that. We're going to have a 1 week sit-out period before the probation gets filed. What I'd also like to review is some of our expectations that we have here at Franklin. The expectations earlier with the Stockton Unified School District, these are the things that are going to fall in line, but we also feel they're very important. We want to make sure you guys understand. You have to be in school in order to play games or to cheer at the games, okay? We're going to be checking if you're tardy, if you're cutting class. That's going to eliminate you from participating in a game that day or to be cheering at the game that day. Make sure you're attending class. Be there on time. Okay, we're going to hold our athletes and our cheerleaders to the highest standard here at the school. You guys are the leaders of this school. Okay, if we see the leaders of our school not attending class, showing up late, that's not what we expect from our athletes and from our cheerleaders. We expect more than that. If you have any fines, we're going to expect you to pay those off before you get a school-issued uniform. Again, fighting on or off campus, we're going to remove you from your team for a minimum of 3 games. Part of our new disciplinary process is once you're removed from the team, we have a hearing with your parents and with administration before you're reinstated to your team. We're going to discuss the issue at hand. Okay? That's no questions asked. Another thing that we've instituted this year, and you've probably seen, we've got some signs up. When you attend our athletic events, you need to have your IDs visible. You need to be able to be identified as an athlete or as a student at Franklin High School. Okay, that means if you're on the team or not on the team and you want to be at the event, have your ID visible. I know they've also started the no-go list with our discipline office. If you're on the no-go list, that includes our athletic events, and we're going to start checking that as well. You won't be able to attend the games. Okay, so you need to make sure you stay off that list. Last thing here, social media. This can be an issue also. Again, be careful what you post. If there's anything that's inappropriate, anything that's going to bring dishonor to our school, to the team, to yourself, to your families, keep it off of social media. It could result in you being removed from the team. All right, this is something new, and we may not be able to pull up the link because I know we don't have Wi-Fi in here. Let me see if I can have Amanda, if you close that, I have the page open. There should be the website open there. Let's see if it'll populate it. There we go. Okay, it's just a blank page. This link is brand new. We just opened it up today. Pretty soon you'll be able to go on the website, keep scrolling down, I'll show them, and you'll be able to register for your sport. You'll be able to fill out all of your information here. You won't have to go to the registrar's office and get paperwork anymore. You'll be able to go online, go on your phones, register for your sports. We'll be able to communicate with you and your family through this new platform. We'll be able to update you about everything you need to know with our athletic program. Okay? So I'll let you know when that goes live. Right now, this is just a preview version. Once it's live, we'll send out that communication to everybody. So that's coming soon. Be ready for, I think starting in April, we'll have that ready for our cheer program to start registering. Last thing I want to touch on. How many of you want to go on and play college sports? Good, I like to see that. I had the opportunity to play college sports myself. I also had the opportunity to coach college sports. It's an outstanding experience. It puts you on the path towards pursuing a career, whether you have the opportunity to continue your career in sports or in any other field. It's a great way to continue on, and I definitely recommend it. It's something that I've been doing for a large part of my professional career. I really enjoy helping student athletes like yourself find a college opportunity. So I just wanted to touch on this real briefly. If you're interested in playing at an NCAA or an NAIA school, the first step is you need to go to these websites and register as a college-bound student athlete, okay? And we'll get into this more. I just want to introduce this to you, and I'll show you where you go and how to promote yourself to college coaches if you're interested. There's also our community colleges like Delta College here. There's several community colleges in the area in Sacramento and Modesto. So if you're a senior and you want to play college sports and you haven't been offered a place to play, I would definitely recommend looking at junior colleges. I did that myself. I played junior college and then went on to a 4-year school. So these are some opportunities to start looking at. The other thing to keep in mind, as our athletes here, there's local scholarships available. And I've been in the process right now of reviewing applicants for any of our lettered athletes. That means those that have competed at least in 1 year of a varsity sport. And there's money available to you to go to college. So these are opportunities that are out there, being a student athlete, being a cheerleader, that you can take advantage of. And we want to help you take advantage of those.